it's incredible the depths of this thing
Yeah.
when you start to look at it, and you have to look away every so often. Um,
Oh yeah.
it's awful, and it's insidious on a level that as I've aged, I'm capable of perceiving it more and more. Because I mean, I think in my, when I was a kid, my mother, was some kind of activist, and very much so about Black Lives Mattering, without ever having to say it like that. And she gave me all the warnings, but there was also that black middle class thing, which was like, never show your ass in front of fucking white people.
Yeah.
Why never show your ass in front of white people? Because white people already expect you to show your ass, right? They already have a preconceived notion of who you are and what your value as a human being. And again, we've created meritocracies for human beings based on skin color and location. There's something deeply wrong with these notions. There's something.
And also there's a conformity to WASP culture in that, right? Because like white people are very, very, very reserved. Like Anglo-Saxon Protestant white people are very, 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 very reserved. They're much more likely to kind of not talk about their feelings publicly and stuff like that. So there's a conformity to that, right? As a Latino, like, we just show our ass.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like currently in a relationship with a Latino, and like I even get, because I grew up in like kind of like middle class white suburbs a lot. Like, she does shit that I'm like, whoa, hey girl, like, wait, why are you showing our ass like that right now? And like, and I'm like, look, the white people are looking. To be careful, like I still have that living inside of me. Like I'm. But then she has all these weird other codifiers that I'm like, well, that's white supremacy right there. Like, she's like, don't do that. That's like, that's a thing you shouldn't do. And I'm like, oh, that's weird. Because I think that adheres to a couple of values that don't have anything to do with who you or I are. But I mean, again, like that reservation, it's, and we can get deep in this shit. That's another kind of fucking cultural violence, because like the truth of the matter is, right, right, the difference between like an upper class or a middle class white person that has those like waspy, like suppressive behaviors, and a white trash person, like a poor white person, is just the expression of emotion and need, right? Because the expression of need, the expression of pain, the expression of feelings is inappropriate or unacceptable, and is to be looked down upon. They do violence upon their own kind, and then that violence is perpetuated into all the other ethnicities as an inherent trait. Right? Black people are so angry. Latinos are so spicy. They're so blah, 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 right? Like we get then thrown an emotional prescriptive that has nothing to do with anything that we are, and then we have to live against it, right? And it's like so. And if that ain't violence, I don't know what the fuck is, because that's in your goddamn head. Right? Like if you punch me in the mouth and you like bloody my nose or whatever, like that's something that will heal. I don't know how to heal all of the things in my head that tell me that I'm skateboarding around the nightmare of white supremacy, right? Or how to navigate that.
No, and I mean, our empire is just a continuation of the British Empire. So if you get into that history, and you get into like one of my favorite things is like, like all these like progressive news programs, they're always coming out with news organizations that may have been at one point as prestigious as your mother's PBS, right? Where they actually, before they got whatever, infiltrated, however you want to describe it, incentivized financially to maybe change their positions and whatnot, to like from liberal to neoliberal. But like you see all these stories that are insane. Like there's like all these things about how like I remember I got really mad one time. I was like, they were like talking about Gandhi being a creep, and I'm like, bro. then I looked at what they say about like Winston Churchill, and I'm like, oh my god, that like what?
Gandhi was a creep. Winston Churchill was,
like it's like, bro, that guy fucking murdered. That guy was like Hitler to the Indians, right? So it's fucking crazy how it's the compartmentalization. I think that like And I think that I keep railing against postmodernism because I don't think a lot of people really understand what postmodernism is. But that ability, that duality of like black people can't, or minorities can't be racist, minorities can be white supremacists, like that is how postmodernism is up its own ass. It can take any position. It's not empirical. It is not even spiritual. It is just like it is a reasoning exercise that is not pragmatic, which is why a lot of philosophy nowadays doesn't really pan out. But what, going back to the secular humanist thing, is like, who was like famously secular?
Angela is a famously atheistic human.
No, I'm saying like the Nazis were fucking a secular society. They were occultists and shit. But that goes to what I'm talking about. Like even when you are secular, you can't fight these human tendencies to have like beliefs that are obscure and shit like that, which is why it's a secular community, but they were super into the fucking occult,
Well, yeah, because the occult's rad and there's like
it's
souls
fucking
and shit.
awesome.
It's rad. Like, theology is rad, and the idea that like you can scribble some weird shit and it has a mystical meaning and an effect. Like human beings are always going to be looking for a third place, right? Because we live in two places. We live here in our brains, right? Right, like in this non-real place, but we pull things out and we make them real from in here, right? That's part of what art making is. That's part of what all human creativity is. And we also live in the very physical world, and we're always looking for that third place, right? Which is where I think mysticism, occultism, all spirituality kind of lives, in the third place, right? Between the imagined, imperceptible backlog that is human consciousness, this weird wormhole of a brain we have, and the physical reality that we have to exist within. There's this like, we're like looking for that sliver. That's what all of that is. And it's super cool. The third place is cool. Because it sort of is real, but it's not real, but it sort of is real. Like, which is kind of like a lot of things about humans.
But if you like hate Christians, but you also have crystals, like fuck off.
Yeah. No, I think I would never espouse hating Christians. I dislike any form or version of oppressive cultural hegemony, right? Like,
yes.
I dislike the idea that somebody can come into my house and tell me, so this is how it's going to be now because I think that's how it is. And it's like, no, fuck you, dude. That's not it. Right. I dislike Christians like I dislike cops. They're just trying to tell me what to do with my life, and they're wrong, because that's not my life. That's not what I want to do. Right.